Hello everyone, welcome back to the World Conflict Monitor channel, and please make sure to subscribe so you never miss updates on the world's most intense conflicts and military developments. Today, we are diving into one of the most dramatic and daring strikes in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, Ukraine's bold attack on the Crimean Bridge, a vital lifeline and war supply route for Russia. This bridge is not only an engineering marvel but also a political and strategic symbol. Its destruction or damage sends shockwaves across the region and across the world. So, let us break this story down from its core. First, let's summarize the story. The Crimean Bridge, also known as the Kerch Strait Bridge, connects mainland Russia to the Crimean Peninsula, which Russia annexed from Ukraine back in 2014. For Russia, this bridge is more than concrete and steel. It is the main artery that keeps Crimea connected to Russian logistics, military supplies, fuel convoys, and civilian traffic. Without it, Russian forces in Crimea struggle to maintain their operational tempo. In July 2023 and again in 2024, Ukraine launched daring attacks that managed to strike this bridge, using drones and sea-based explosive devices. These attacks demonstrated Ukraine's ability to project power deep into Russian-held territory, even against heavily fortified and defended infrastructure. The story is about more than an explosion, it is about symbolism, morale, and the balance of power in this war. When we talk about the exterior of the bridge, we must understand its sheer scale. Stretching nearly 19 kilometers across the Kerch Strait, the Crimean Bridge is the longest bridge in Europe. From the outside, it is a massive structure of steel arches and concrete spans, supported by pylons that dig deep into the seabed. Russia built it in just 4 years after the annexation of Crimea, completing it in 2018, with President Vladimir Putin famously driving a truck across it during its inauguration. From its exterior appearance, it was meant to look permanent, strong, and immovable, a statement that Crimea was inseparably tied to Russia. But Ukraine's strikes revealed how even the mightiest-looking structures are vulnerable to modern warfare. Explosions tore through the road section, collapsing lanes, twisting steel, and leaving gaping holes where vehicles once crossed. What looked untouchable from the outside became fragile under pressure. On the interior level, the bridge is made of reinforced concrete with dual sections, one for vehicle traffic and one for railway transport. This dual use is what made it such a critical target. Trains carried tanks, ammunition, oil, and food supplies, while trucks and cars moved military convoys and civilian goods. The internal structure was layered with heavy rebar and deep concrete foundations, designed to resist corrosion from salty sea air and to endure heavy daily loads. But inside this solid design lies the weak point of all large infrastructure, its reliance on uninterrupted connections. Destroy even a few key spans or support points, and the whole bridge becomes unusable. That is exactly what Ukraine's precision strikes targeted, the internal vulnerabilities of logistics and connection rather than the raw material strength of concrete and steel. When we assess the performance of the bridge, it originally served Russia well. It performed the function of linking Russia to Crimea efficiently, with thousands of vehicles crossing each day and steady freight rail supplying Crimea's military bases. During the early stages of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the bridge was at peak performance, moving weapons, fuel, and reinforcements into the occupied south. But performance is not just about how well something works in peacetime, it is also about resilience in wartime. Here, the bridge failed its ultimate test. Ukraine demonstrated that with the right combination of intelligence, engineering, and asymmetric tactics, performance could be interrupted. The explosions halted traffic, stranded military convoys, and forced Russia to reroute supplies through long, vulnerable land corridors across occupied territories, stretching their logistics thin. In modern conflict, performance is measured not only by what a structure can carry but by whether it can survive under attack, and here, the bridge's performance collapsed under pressure. Now let us talk about safety features. The Crimean Bridge was guarded by Russian military units, air defense systems, anti-drone technology, and maritime patrols. There were also claims of sonar nets and barriers designed to prevent underwater sabotage. Russia invested heavily in trying to make this bridge safe from attack, knowing how vital it was. But no safety system is foolproof. Ukraine's attacks showed that safety features can be bypassed through stealth, speed, and innovative weaponry. Explosive drones approaching at night, sea-borne drones skimming waves, and diversions to confuse air defenses all played roles in breaching Russia's protection. The failure of safety features was not just technical, it was psychological. Russia had promised its people that the bridge was secure, and when explosions ripped through it, those assurances were shattered. Safety, in this case, was more perception than reality. Moving on to the unique selling points, the Crimean Bridge was always more than infrastructure. Its unique value was symbolic. To Russia, it was the physical embodiment of Crimea's annexation, a monument to power, and a propaganda tool. To Ukraine, striking it became a way of proving that Russian control was not absolute. No matter how tall the arches or how long the span, the bridge was a visible reminder of occupation. This is why Ukraine invested so much effort into targeting it. Beyond symbolism, the unique selling point of this bridge for Russia was speed and efficiency of supply. With the bridge in place, Russia could rapidly resupply Crimea directly from its heartland, bypassing slower sea routes or longer overland paths. That was its advantage. But Ukraine flipped that advantage on its head, turning the bridge from a symbol of permanence into a symbol of vulnerability. When we think about price, the bridge cost Russia an estimated $3.7 billion to build, making it one of the most expensive infrastructure projects in Russian history. The financial price was staggering, but the political and military price is even higher. Every attack that damages the bridge forces Russia to spend millions more on repairs, reroutes supplies at extra cost, and exposes the weakness of their defenses. For Ukraine, the price of striking the bridge involved research, development, and sacrifice, pilots of sea drones, engineers of new technologies, intelligence networks. But compared to the billions Russia invested, the price Ukraine paid for attacks was minimal and asymmetric. That is the essence of modern warfare, low-cost strikes delivering high-cost damage to the enemy. In conclusion, the attack on the Crimean Bridge is not just a story of explosions and repairs. It is the story of how symbols can be shattered, how logistics can be disrupted, and how even the strongest structures can become fragile under the pressure of modern asymmetric warfare. Ukraine's bold strike showed the world that no supply line is untouchable, no infrastructure is safe when innovation and determination combine. For Russia, it was a humiliation and a logistical nightmare. For Ukraine, it was a victory of morale, strategy, and symbolism. And for the world, it was a reminder that in this war, the battlefield is everywhere, on land, at sea, in the air, and even across the spans of a mighty bridge. So as we reflect on Ukraine's daring attack on the Crimean Bridge, remember that wars are not only fought with tanks and soldiers. They are fought with ideas, with symbols, and with the ability to strike where the enemy feels most secure. The Crimean Bridge was once a monument to Russian permanence, now, it stands as a monument to vulnerability. Thank you for watching World Conflict Monitor. Please subscribe to stay updated with the latest insights on the world's conflicts and their global impact.